We're going to do a cast today on one simple question. What is privilege? Simple as that. Let's get started. Welcome back. This is Being the Other. I'm Dr. Dwight Turner, and as always, it's a pleasure to talk to yourselves about aspects of difference and otherness and so on. And this week we're going to do something really quite simple, but really also very far-reaching. We're going to explore the idea of privilege. Now, what is privilege? Often in the media, what we see is an idea that privilege is just based around whiteness, that if you are born white, that you have certain advantages in culture, in society, that other people who are less advantaged, who are not born white, for example, of color or Asian or native in some sort of way, that they don't have. Perfect examples come out of people, schooling, for example. The idea that Stormzy recently advocated that he was going to set up a fund for those persons of color to attend one of the top universities here in the UK. And those already of privilege complained that actually he should be doing it for all students in some sort of way because they would lose their sense of privilege. And the reason why he did that, or one of the reasons in my view why he did it, because I don't know the man, so it's not like I know exactly why he did it, one of the reasons why he would have done that is actually to raise the standard, not to raise the standard, to actually give those who are disadvantaged a bit of a step up so they can actually hit the same sorts of levels as those of privilege who perhaps just to call up the dean in some way and actually get a foot through the door. It does happen, strangely enough. But privilege is also intersectional. I need to raise this issue now. And I might do a separate video on intersectionality at some point, but just briefly to explore intersectionality it's the multi-layered notion of identity. For example, people might just see me as a black man, just a black man. Well, what's he know about difference or whatever else it is? That's not who I am. I'm English, British in some way, but I'm also of Caribbean origin. I'm a father, I'm a psychotherapist, I'm able-bodied. I'm a variety of things that actually forms my whole identity. To just focus on one aspect is actually a form of othering. We've done that in one of the previous videos. This is quite important, this intersectional idea of identity. Because when we combine that with privilege, what we actually get is we have to recognize that privilege itself is multi-layered. So even though we looked at whiteness at the top of the video, don't forget, things like being able-bodied is also a type of privilege, especially in the world we live in. The world is very much built around the idea of, well, actually, okay, we're going to create some stairs up to the first floor, which the able-bodied person can walk up, but anybody else who's not able-bodied, that's in a wheelchair, whatever else, they don't get that advantage. They don't get to access that space in some way, or maybe it's more challenging for them. Patriarchy could be seen as a form of privilege. The idea that if you're male, then you actually have greater access to clubs, to benefits, to jobs than somebody who's not. Heterosexuality could be seen as a form of privilege. The idea that actually if you're heterosexual, then you're safer in the world than somebody who's not that, who may feel afraid, frightened to just walk down the streets holding their hands to their partner. These are examples of an intersectional idea of privilege. But what they also say is that we all walk with an element of privilege at all times. This is quite important. I'm standing here as a man. That gives me a sense of certain type of privilege, although I'm also black. So that's my sense of otherness. You combine the two together and that we live with both all the time. This is what I think is quite fascinating about privilege. People often focus about one part and their fear about their privilege being taken away. But what they're actually really afraid of under this, when people actually say, well, actually, you know what? I don't want to see my white or my heterosexual privileges taken away in some sort of way. What they're actually saying is they don't want to be the other. They're fearful of being seen as different in some way. This is one of the main things I want you to take away from this cast right here. If privilege and otherness are two sides of the same coin, then people's fear of their otherness means that they're going to hang on to their privilege as hard as they possibly can. We got there in the end. As always, I'm going to leave this one there. As always, it's a pleasure to talk to yourselves about these important topics. Please keep sending me your emails, keep writing in. I do love to hear from you all. As always, it's a pleasure to talk to yourselves. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.